So 20 years ago, back in 2003, Disney and Activision released a little game known as Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, a game that I hold some very strong memories of when I was younger, playing this with friends at their house until I eventually also got the game as well. Every now and then, as an adult, I find myself thinking about those memories and wanting to revisit the game, and of course recently, I was feeling like doing just that. So today, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about it, what it was all about, and just sharing the nostalgia of it all with you.
Welcome back to the 25 Days of Fringe Miss, where there's going to be brand
Wait. Double Fringe Miss. Aw, you only thought you were gonna get 25 videos this year? Look at you. You look silly. But I'm here to fix that because I'm gonna give you not only 25 videos, but I'm giving you 50 videos. I have 2 channels. That's 2 Fringe Misses. Each day there'll be a brand new video on both channels for 25 days. I haven't slept in months. Enjoy the content. Or don't. To make a game like this come to be, Disney and Activision started getting into a fun chat about taking beloved Disney characters, as well as Pixar characters, and having them be involved in some form of extreme sport as they were on the rise in general. Activision knew exactly what to do as under them was Neversoft. You know, the developers of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So they just looked over there and had the studio Toys for Bob get to work on a game that can basically do the same thing. As Toys for Bob began dealing with a lot of waiting for approvals from Disney and Pixar in regards to their characters, it was hard to balance where to keep this game at. Should you mimic the Tony Hawk series as much as possible, or should it be more open to younger audiences with easier controls? It's kind of a bit of both. The game really is a lot like the Tony Hawk series, as it features basically the same setup for skateboarding, with the only difference being that it simplifies the controls, making it as easy as pressing a single button to pull off certain tricks rather than a few. There isn't really any story in the game. You just hop into the levels, get some tasks to complete and challenges to do in order to unlock a bunch of stuff as you progress forward through more levels, and from there, you can enjoy all of those things that you've unlocked. Now, with having the Disney license, you'd expect the roster here to be pretty stacked, but let's talk about it. First, you have your Toy Story characters like Woody, Buzz, Zurg, Jessie. Then you have Tarzan characters in their younger age like Tarzan, Jane, Turk, and Tantor. Then there are young Lion King characters like Simba, Nala, Rafiki, and Timon and Pumbaa. And other than that, it's really just human characters from there that are a part of the Extreme Skate crew. I think that part of my gripe with this is that while it seems in numbers that it's a lot of Disney and Pixar characters, it's only represented by 3 different properties, and I'd rather have less from each property in the sake of having more representation from other properties that weren't present. Through the adventure mode, you unlock and go to a bunch of open areas inspired from those properties. And I love that we get so many cool areas from those 3 series. It's just sad that there isn't a bit more because there aren't other characters from a plethora of other properties to choose from. I would have opted for only having 1 or 2 for each of them if it meant having a larger variety overall. This is really chopped up to what they were allowed to do when creating the game and what Disney and Pixar would approve. So if they weren't given the green light to add more characters than they were, it's understandable. Still disappointing. There is this main hub area that gives you a large open area known as Hollywood, which is cool and all, but man, you gotta love games that have real sponsors baked into them. And I'm not talking about the Radio Disney stuff being advertised. I mean, that just seems commonplace here, Disney and Disney synergy. I'm talking about the in-your-face Nokia and McDonald's promotions that are just baked into this game. Like, Hollywood literally has a McDonald's in it, and there are 3D renders of stuff like a baked apple pie in the game, as you have to be a delivery person as part of the challenges. I don't know how I feel about this other than I find it really funny that this kind of stuff happens. This also worked both ways between the game and McDonald's, as there was a line of toys that came with Happy Meals, but I guess it kind of works like a 3-way promotion where Disney benefits the most of getting bonus tie-in promotion from the toys themselves, advertising the game and the company as a whole. Everything you unlock, like the characters in the game, can be accessed in the game's free skate mode, and there's even a multiplayer component to face off against friends in local play. Something that was pretty cool to see, and what kid wouldn't have wanted to take part in at the time, was Activision holding an open casting call for young skaters that would have a chance to appear in the game and be a part of the Extreme Skate crew. This led to 2 kids actually getting the chance to be put in the game. Like, imagine how sick it would be to brag to your friends at that age that you were in this game. I think that's pretty awesome. And I really feel that this game has this infectious charm to it that oozes out joy while playing it. If you've ever played the Tony Hawk games prior to this, then it feels basically second nature to understand withstand the same engine that Pro Skater 4 was built in, only having it be easier to perform tricks in. Luckily, you can tweak it to feel more like those other skating games by going to the options and switching things up in the Pro controls, which I think is cleverly named, making it less simplified than the game presents them to be, which is nice. It's still not quite like Tony Hawk, but it's as close as it gets with a game like this. Skating around all of the different levels is honestly a treat, as they are extremely detailed, and Toys for Bob did an incredible job in replicating familiar places to now operate as an open skate park of unrealistic proportions. It visually is just a cool experience that still looks great today when going back to play it. By the nature of this game, there just isn't a whole lot to expect outside of just running around the levels in adventure mode and getting your unlocks, but the replay value, aside from anything involving multiplayer, is the fun of skating in those levels in Free Skate. So it lacks a true sense of progression, but I don't mean that in a negative way, as you do progress forward by completing challenges. It just doesn't have anything more to excite you to push you forward. Again, for what it is, I think that's fine, as it's still so much fun to play. I don't think if you've never played this game, you'd find too much enjoyment here outside of a very average skateboarding game that feels like a downgraded clone of other better ones. I feel it is so heavily tied to the memories of playing it that makes it so much grander than it is, because you have this childhood attachment to it.
This double Fringe Miss is brought to you by GamerSupps.
What's the deal with GamerSupps? I mean, it's less than a calorie, it has no sugar, but it tastes great. Something's gotta give. But there is nothing to give. Scratch that. There is something to give. How do you like 10% off your order of GamerSupps? Use code FRINGE and do it now. Please, it helps the channel. Do you want to do cool stuff next year? You want to make 2024 cool? You support GamerSupps, you support me, and we're gonna do big things. Link in the description. Use code FRINGE. 10% off. Do it. The soundtrack for the game is pretty sick as well, having a solid roster to listen to while you skate around, much like the Tony Hawk games themselves would also be known for. And while the game itself is definitely skewed a bit younger thanks to how it plays in comparison to the Tony Hawk games and its standard settings, the game is still a blast to play, with the levels being pretty expansive and fun to explore. And you also have Disney and Pixar characters in the game. Even though it's not a lot, it's still cool to see and pretty funny to witness sometimes, as some of the characters just look pretty goofy on a skateboard, and some of their skateboard designs are also pretty goofy. It definitely is a more restricted version of Tony Hawk, there's no hiding that. If you're looking for it to be just like them, you're better off just sticking to the Tony Hawk games. But if you want something that is a bit looser with the controls, easier in difficulty, and pretty much a very relaxing game, then this game certainly has all that. It brings the colorful and vibrant worlds to life from the properties that get represented in the game, so it's very nice to look at, and it all functionally works. It just isn't going to be as technical or fleshed out in the skating aspect if that's what you're looking for. But even in being an easier experience, the game does have a bit of a ramp up and challenge the further you get into all of it, so it's still as fun to revisit and skate around in today as it was back when I was a kid. If you've ever played this game or have any memories of it yourself, let me know in the comments below, because it's just such a feel-good, nostalgic game to discuss. I've been Jordan Fringe, thanks so much for watching, like and subscribe. Later.